This is Chapter 1, an Introduction to Sociology. This video is going to go along with our first section, What is Sociology? For this section, we have two learning objectives. Our first is to explain concepts central to sociology, and the second is to understand how different sociological perspectives have developed. Now, these videos are a little different from how we did our psychology videos. There's not a lot of content on each screen, but you should already have your notes taken from the chapters, and you can just follow along to review the high points. So our first question is, what is sociology? Sociology is the systematic study of society and social interaction. When we look at that, we need to determine what is society and culture. Sociologists study all aspects and levels of society. A society is a group of people whose members interact, reside in a definable area, and share a culture. A culture includes the group's shared practices, values, and beliefs. So society and a culture are not the same thing, but they do interact with each other. One of the main points for sociology is the sociological imagination, and this concept was developed by C. Wright Mills, and essentially it's how individuals understand their own and others' pasts in relation to history and social structure. In order to do that, we need to study patterns, and it's how sociologists view society. Cultural patterns and social forces put pressure on people to select one choice over another. Sociologists try to identify these general patterns by examining the behavior of larger groups of people living in the same society and experiencing the same societal pressures. A recent pattern that sociologists looked at was the U.S. housing market and the foreclosures that were happening. Owning a home has typically been part of the American dream, but a lot of people got in over their heads between about 2006 and 2011 and began missing payments, which led to very serious consequences. Up to losing your home, it can have serious effects on future credit. Between about 2006 and 2011, about 3 million homes were repossessed by the banks. So sociologists wanted to determine why this happened, why this was such an unprecedented event. And they're going to look at a variety of factors to determine what led to this rate. Looking at the impact of external conditions on individual choices allows sociologists to determine patterns that can then be applied to the group as a whole. Another problem that sociologists look at that is prevalent within our society is the use of food stamps. And with the use of food stamps, there's a lot of stereotypes that are out there. Like the people that are on food stamps are maybe lazy or unmotivated. We also have a very high percentage of those who receive food stamps that can be attributed to very specific states in the United States. Researchers have found that for many people from all classes, there's a strong stigma attached to the use of food stamps. And this stigma can prevent people who qualify for this type of assistance from using the food stamps. When sociologists look at these different problems, they want to study part and the whole picture. A key basis of sociological perspective is the concept that the individual and society are inseparable. It's impossible to study one without the other. And figuration is the process of simultaneously analyzing the behavior of individuals and the society that shapes their behavior. A metaphor for figuration is that there can be no dance without dancers, and there can be no dancers without the dance. You can see how they both relate and interact with each other. Without one, the other cannot exist. When you apply it to society and sociology, there can be no society without the individuals who make it up, and conversely, there can be no individuals who aren't affected by the society in which they live. So we'll take this concept of figuration and apply it to religion. People can practice their own religion. It's distinctly an individual process or belief. But when you look at religion as a whole, it exists in a larger social context. An individual's religious practice can be influenced by outside societal factors such as government, holidays, teachers, places of worship, rituals, and more. These influences underscore the important relationship between individual practices of religion and social pressures that influence that religious experience. Now, in each chapter, you'll have these little boxes that will come up that are on making connections, and there's a variety of different ways that they will take a look at it. The first one is looking at careers in sociology and how a sociologist is going to apply what he learns to something that happened to a friend of his. A lesbian couple, Ashley and her partner, moved from an urban area to a smaller town. The couple then experienced outright discrimination. The couple decided to positively try to change the situation by forming the town's first gay-straight alliance to educate their community and raise awareness. The alliance has become a strong advocacy group for LBGT individuals. And the sociologist Kearns observed that this is an excellent example of how negative social forces can result in a positive response from individuals to bring about social change. So as you read each of these making connections boxes, you just want to summarize what's going on and come up with the main ideas and the result, or why you think this making connections box was included in your section. And that is it for section 1, a quick summary. Sociology is the systematic study of society and social interaction. In order to carry out their studies, sociologists identify cultural patterns and social forces and determine how they affect individuals and groups. They also develop ways to apply their findings to the real world. As you take your notes, please make sure that you are highlighting the definitions that go along with each section. There were 3 vocab words for section 1: sociology, sociological imagination, and figuration. So make sure you have those included in your notes.